Now, at first, there are signs of hope. Thomas Jefferson actually writes a letter to John Adams saying that the better man won the election and he's willing to work with him. He just never gave it to John Adams. He showed it to James Madison, his protege, first, and James Madison said, "Are you crazy? You're going to admit that John Adams is the better man?" So it was never sent. Adams tries to be conciliatory, tries to get along with Jefferson, says that he's, got respect for France. Jefferson and Adams had been friends. They need to work together. And I think it would have been okay. But at that time, John Adams chose to allow George Washington's cabinet to remain in office. Now, George Washington's cabinet, they're all staunch Federalists, even though Washington didn't belong to a political party. Obviously, John Adams would have been better off firing Washington's cabinet and choosing his own, because they're not loyal to John Adams. They're loyal to Washington, and this doesn't work. Now, the Federalists in his cabinet convince him that he needs not to work with Jefferson, not to work with the Democratic Republicans, but that they are the enemy and that he should only be loyal to the Federalists. On top of that, you've got the French Revolution. Yes, still going on. And because we signed the Jay Treaty with Great Britain, they're a little bit mad at us. So they're attacking our ships and impressing our sailors. Do you remember what impressment means? What is the more common definition for it? See if you can remember, because it's going to be on your test. Adams decides that he's going to send delegates to France to try to negotiate. Well, while he sends his delegates there, guess what? The French ministers will not meet with our delegates unless we pay them a bribe. Now, this really makes us look bad. We have to give you money before you'll even speak to us? We're a foreign nation. You should deal with us like any other country. Public opinion towards France just plummets. Everybody now thinks France is the bad guy. If you look carefully at this political cartoon of the time, you see that the leaders of France, the members of the Directory, which was the current government at the time, are literally pestering the American woman you see in the center. Now, Made in America being ravaged is their way of saying politely that America was literally being raped for money by the French. You've got Great Britain up on the hill looking down and watching, because it's not that long ago that we won our independence. And then, of course, the rest of the world is looking on. The XYZ affair makes us look bad, makes us look weak, and definitely we have been punked by France. Now, everybody's arguing for, you guessed it, war. Let's go to war. Think about what happened after 9/11. Everybody wanted revenge. Well, it's no different at that time. We want revenge on France, okay? We want to go to war. Some people think, well, if we go to war with France, Alexander Hamilton believes, we could actually gain territory. We could take that away from France and our nation could grow even larger. Some people have even created a clever slogan, millions for defense, but not 1 cent for tribute. Do you know what that means? You're going to have to tell me on the test, so you better figure it out. Again, millions for defense, but not 1 cent for tribute. Adams feels that war is not the answer. And even though the Federalists are telling him war, 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 he decides we're not strong enough. We don't have an army. We don't have a navy. We can't go to war against France. So he sends new ministers instead. This makes him tremendously unpopular. He doesn't want to go to war. The rest of the nation does. Now, because of our anger at France, and because Federalists tended to be pro-British and anti-French, the Federalists actually gain more power by showing their public anger with France. That means that more people are willing to vote for Federalist candidates. Because more Federalists are elected to Congress, That means that they take control, and they're actually going to enact laws that punish or restrict their Democratic Republican rivals. It's their way of saying, we got you now. Now, again, what did Washington warn about? Why were political parties bad? What did Washington say? He said they would divide the country. And obviously, if you're using government to punish the opposing political party, that's not a good thing. So the Federalists try to punish the Democratic Republicans by passing 3 laws or acts.